So my name is Sarah and this is Victoria, and we are with Freestyle Creative. Today we are going to be talking about how to reach a new audience through your brand story. So a little bit about Freestyle. We are a full-service marketing and advertising agency here in the Metro. We started about 11 years ago in film and video production, and about 4 years ago branched off into full-service advertising. So we have in-house web developer, digital, photography, video, and our digital services are continuing to grow. I am Sarah Rogers, so I'm the digital marketing strategist at Freestyle. I work really closely with the creative team from concept to creation to make sure that all of our creative is fit for digital platforms.
And I'm Victoria Fox. I'm the lead video producer and editor here at Freestyle. I kind of manage everything from concept to delivery, making sure that we're meeting our clients' needs throughout the entire project. I also work really closely with our director of photography to make sure that the overall look matches your brand. I've worked on numerous commercials, documentaries, gala videos, brand identity, kind of anything that you can think of that's going to go on the web especially. But overall, it's just storytelling, my passion for storytelling that really drives everything forward for me. So speaking of storytelling, here at Freestyle, for us, it's kind of the fundamental part of who we are. So much so that it's in our mission, which is to amplify the stories of our, or amplify the stories that show the heart of our team, clients, and community. We are actually going to talk to you guys today, like Sarah said, about how to kind of create your brand story and then how to get it into the hands of the audiences that you're looking for. We do this for numerous Oklahoma City businesses that are BBB accredited, and we're actually working with the Better Business Bureau of Central Oklahoma on a 4-part video series that is going to go on television, hopefully nationally. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of why it actually matters, why you guys are here today. Think about your Facebook feed. Think about the stories that you're sharing the most. Storytelling is so important nowadays, especially with video, that we're consuming more media now than ever. In 2017, actually, we had online video accounting for more than 70% of all media consumption, which, and that's just on digital platforms. As you can tell, this is kind of a fundamental need for what we're doing right now. But think about the stories that you guys are actually sharing. Why are you sharing them? Who are you sharing them with? For me, I know I have to, if a story is going to be shared, it's got to move me. It's got to move me to tears or make me smile. It's got to make me think about something really hard in a good way. And I really enjoy those kinds of things. And that's what your customers are going to enjoy as well. So it's going to be about crafting stories now that resonate really well with your audience and that you can really push out to the people that you're trying to reach. More often than not, you guys have a core value set for your company, right? You have these ideas in your head of, and most of the time in your mission and your vision of who you are. So if you can figure out a way to make your video kind of reflect that, it's going to be a lot easier. So storytelling, we've said it God knows how many times in the last 5 minutes. It's kind of a buzzword for the day, but what is a storyteller? A storyteller, to me, a great storyteller, is someone who can really connect with the heart of who you are. It's someone that can see their client and connect their client with their client's story, with their client's audience, and the client's customers' hearts. So if you can reach out to the hearts of all of these people, you're doing your job well. Right. If I am going too fast, please slow me down, and I am happy to repeat anything, but let's get into brand storytelling. So your video, if you're going to post something, think about the process that you go through whenever you're hiring. Your video should be that same process. You should be thinking about people, or your video in the same way that you think about your people for your company. They're going to be representing you. They're your ambassadors. So is your video genuine? Is it honest? Is it authentic? Is it engaging? Is it exciting? if you're hitting those marks and you're reflecting your core values of your company, then odds are the people who share those same core values, those customers that share your core values, are going to relate to that and want to share it. They're going to always choose authentic communication over just you guys telling them what to do, right? Authentic connection will inspire action more than anything else. So for our purposes today, I want to cover two main storytelling models. The first one is the brand identity video, and the second one is the hero guide video. Your brand identity video is kind of exactly what you think. It's your ethos, it's your calling card, you're about us. It's a little bit more surface level as far as, how did you get your start? What are you doing now? Your brand identity, or your hero guide video is going to go a little bit different. It's going to allow your customers to tell your story. It's going to allow your customers to show their heart and in turn show your heart. So if you want to take a look, the three essential components for any video: hero, conflict, and guide. Too often your your brand is depicting yourself as the hero. That's not what's going to resonate with your audience, because they're the consumer, they're the customer, right? They want to be the hero. So your hero should be your customer, and your brand should be the guide. Now, what is the hero being guided towards? And that's where your conflict comes in. Your conflict is anything that's keeping your hero from overcoming their desired outcomes, their desired goals. So I have a really good example for one of our videos. This is obviously more of a national campaign. We can talk a little bit more on the local level after this, but here it is.
Hey Gus. Right now you are about 7,000 miles away from me, which isn't really surprising, because we spend, I would say, about 50% of our time apart. I always sleep on this side of the bed. That's your side, and I keep that as your side. I am so proud of you, and I'm so happy for you, because I know how hard you have worked to get here. You are loved by so many people, Gus.
Hi, Uncle Gussie. Just want to let you know we're sending you good vibes, Gus.
We're all rooting for you. You just do what you do best, man.
You're an animal. You are out of your mind. Traveling non-stop, committing your entire life, body, soul, all of it to skiing. Super proud of you.
As a gay man growing up, I think the minute we realize we're gay, it's a flaw. What people, when they look at you, they think I can do anything and be gay and that there's nothing wrong with me.
It was your courage to do what you did so publicly that gave me the courage to come out. It was the best decision of my life. And I really thank you from the bottom of my heart.
This is your time, brother.
Love you to death, bud.
I love you.
Well, so let's break that down a little bit. If you guys had to guess, who is the hero?
Gus.
Gus, yeah, good job. And who was our guide?
The phone?
The phone. So in this, we had a couple different areas of conflict, right? We had the fact that he's traveling all over the place. He's distant from all of his loved ones. He's distant from, his home, his comfort zone. We also had conflict about the perceptions of the world that are kind of being forced on him, and seeing him kind of have to struggle with, and him and some of his loved ones struggle with dealing with their own perceptions of the world. So Samsung did a really awesome job about telling Gus's story, about putting him in a position to overcome his own conflict. This wasn't, same time trying to say, well, we're the best, we did all of these things, we're overcoming, these perceptions, we're overcoming this distance. What they were saying was, he is on his own journey and we're here to help him out. We're here to help him overcome these things that he's struggling with. And if you took away all the branding, it would still be a really awesome story, right? So go ahead and switch. So that went viral. But let's talk a little bit about the anatomy of something that's shareable, especially a shareable character, because that's going to be your primary focus of things, especially on the local level with your business. You want to focus on your character. So a strong character, or a shareable character is going to be strong. They're going to be relatable. They're going to be unique. They're going to be complex. They're going to have conflict. They're going to have all of these sorts of problems that they have to overcome. They're going to be better for that. And you have to find in your video characters that are a direct, basically, mirror. It's almost a mirror to who you are, because they're going to relate to that so much better than you coming up and saying, you need to buy my product because I do this, this, and this. Instead, it's, hey, this person has benefited so greatly just like you can. This person is overcoming their own struggles, and we're here to help them out. We're here to be behind, to be their backing, to be their cheerleader. And that in turn will relate and create shareable content. But who are you sharing it with, right? There's no point in making a video if it's not going to go anywhere, if it's going to sit on the back page of your website, or if it's going to lose itself in the abyss of YouTube. You kind of have to know who your audience is, and Sarah here is going to talk a little bit more to that process.
Awesome. So this is a lot of what my job is, figuring out who our clients' target audiences are and how we need to speak to them. And so before you start casting your characters and figuring out what they need to say, you need to understand who they need to mimic. So we start by defining our audience, and we do this with a really simple Venn diagram. Essentially, your audience needs to fit 3 criteria. They need to have the need for your product or service, they need to be interested in you and your product and service, and they need to have the money to purchase it. So how do you figure out who those people are? We break it down into a few layers. The first layer is going to be the demographic information. That's probably the information that you already know about your audience, or you can find pretty easily. That's going to be their ages, their locations, and also, is it 50-50 male-female, or are you swaying heavier on the female side or the male side? So if you don't already know this and you are active on social media, Facebook and Instagram have really great insights that break down who's engaging with your social media already. So you can get a good idea, are you hitting 20 to 30-year-olds or 20 to 50-year-olds? If your target audience is 40 to 60, you definitely don't want to put a 20-year-old in your video. And then the second layer, that one is a little bit trickier. We would definitely recommend hiring a research firm if you have the ability to do so, because this one's going to take a lot of surveys and kind of feeling out your current customers to see what their media consumption behaviors are. Where are they in the realm of media? Are they watching TV? Are they streaming on Pandora or Spotify, or are they listening to the radio? Are they on Facebook and Instagram, or are they YouTubers? So that's where that second layer will tell us where we're going to place that media and kind of what we need to do to fit it on that platform. The third layer, that's the hardest. This is attitudes and opinions. So this will kind of tell you about the conflict that goes into your video. This is best done through focus groups and one-on-one interactions with current or previous customers. You need to figure out what their attitudes are toward your product or service. If they've used you before, what are their attitudes towards you and your brand and your customer service? And what were some of the pain points? If they've used another company before, same thing. This will kind of give you an idea of what conflicts you need to show being overcome in your video. And all of these things, when you put them all together, you can create personas and start to shape who that character is going to be. So we have our primary target audience, and that's obviously who we want to show in our video. But the whole goal of this is to reach new people as well. And we do that by strategically figuring out who our secondary target audiences are. So we go back to the Venn diagram, and we look at people who have 2 of these 3 components, and we're waiting on the 3rd. So they may have the money and the need for this product or service, but maybe they're not interested in you yet. So how can we make them interested? Or they have the need and the interest, but they don't have the money yet. They're still waiting to get that product or service. So how do we keep them interested and make them choose you guys when they do have that money? So this figuring out where your audience is best done with research, but there's also a ton of secondary research online to figure out where certain people are, especially in different age ranges, and how people consume media. So I won't spout all of these out to you, but something interesting is that 63% of adults' online activity talk about products or services. So the majority of people are talking about products and services online. So how are they talking about you? Are they sharing your brand and your story with their friends? Are they leaving reviews? That kind of thing. And then this kind of talks about our secondary target audience. 73.4% of users follow a brand because they're interested in the product or service. So that talks about that secondary audience that may not have the money yet, but they're interested. So they're going to follow you, and they want to see what you're doing and what your brand is like, so that when they do need you and they have the money for you, then they're going to choose your brand. So how does this fit into video besides figuring out who your characters are? So on digital, we see that videos outperform text and copy almost all the time. One stat that we found said that viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it in a video, compared to 10% when it's text and copy combined. So you're increasing your retention rate by 85% just by putting it in a video versus text and copy. And then social video generates 1,200% more engagement and shares than text and images alone. So if you're looking for referrals, if you're looking for people to talk about you, those videos are going to be more easily shared. So this goes back to our layers of finding out where our audience is. So once you have that video, you figured out who your characters are, now you need to figure out where you're going to put it. So the research can tell you where they are online, and based on that research, we'll pick and choose some of these to do. You may have the budget to do all of them, but if you don't, then we want to be strategic about it. Obviously, the owned media, that's going to be free. You want to put it on your website and on your blog and on your social channels first. Then paid media, that's going to be your media buying. So if we're putting it on TV, if we're putting it on Facebook ads, YouTube ads, that's anything that we're paying for. Hopefully, out of that paid media, especially social, we could get some earned media. Hopefully we could connect with bloggers. Maybe your story is even newsworthy. Connect with them. And then shared media, that's going to go back to your social, and hopefully your customers are going to share your brand video because they resonate with your story. They know your core values already, and they want their friends to experience it. So Victoria is going to talk about some production tips and resources so that when you guys start to plan out your video, you have a good platform.
Yeah, so one of the most daunting questions that I think a lot of companies face whenever they're starting the video production process is, what is your budget? A lot of people don't really understand the video production process itself and how much their money can actually buy in video. So I've broken down a couple local industry standards for video production budgets. This is in no means like a set in stone thing, but it'll help you gauge kind of where to start. So the lowest budget range is usually going to be about $1,000 to $3,000. This is a skilled one-man band, a freelancer, a small production company that's going to be, they're going to be very passionate about your team, very passionate about your project, but they may not have all the resources that you are looking for in a long-term project. Going up a little bit to the $3,000 to $10,000 range, this is getting into a little bit healthier of a budget and will allow for some smaller advertising agencies or smaller video production companies to really help you out and get get you to the place that you're looking to go in this budget range. And they're going to produce great work. When you get into the $10,000 to $15,000 range, this becomes a really healthy option for advertising agencies. This is going to allow you to have a little bit more support. You have all your experts in one building, so you have marketing, you have video, you have digital, you have strategy. They're all in one place, and it's a lot more collaborative to help you reach what you're trying to do with that, just that video, right? You can start thinking about digital and other things. When you move into the $15,000 up budget range, the sky's kind of the limit. You allow for a lot more flexibility and creativity from your teams. You're going to most likely be able to hire better cast members, better crew members. You're going to be able to afford better equipment, which in some cases produces a better video. And there's going to be a lot more support from our end if we have a little bit more flexibility in our creative as well. Most important though, regardless of your budget, you need to be looking for somebody who can be really passionate and really get behind your team. You want somebody who cares about your story, cares about getting to know who you are, both as as an individual but also as a company. They want to know your core values. They want to know, they want to ask the right questions as far as what exactly your needs are, what are you looking for, and how can we make that happen. And remember that if someone doesn't take the time to know that, doesn't take the time to learn that, then they're not going to be able to tell your story accurately or passionately. And overall, beyond the budget, having all key decision makers on board with the tone, the expectations, the goals of the video is going to make the process a lot smoother on our end and on your end. It'll make sure that we are all hitting the mark for you guys, and that if you have any questions, that open line of communication will always be there. Another thing is that you guys are the experts, right? You've put your heart and soul into your businesses, and you need to remember that whenever a video production company comes in, because if they're not listening to you, then they're probably not going to be the right fit, right? They need to be listening to you guys as the experts to learn more about your story and what you're really looking for. And if they're not listening, then they're not really going to be able to provide the things that you're needing out of a video. So that's kind of it. We'll be around for some questions and answers if you have any. And thank you guys so much for your time, for your participation. We really appreciate it. Thank you.